Great. Well, hi, Tom. Thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
Hey Corey, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good, of course. So I just want to give you a little insight into what we're doing. So we're just highlighting, the transfer working group is highlighting successful transfer stories of students that we know that started at Nova or came to Nova and then went on to a four-year school. Students are either currently still at that school or maybe they've graduated. So we just want to hear your story. And so can you tell us a little bit about who you are, why you came to Nova, and where you are now?
Sure. Well, I'm Tom Gajar. I started Nova, I think it was 2015. That was a time when I wanted to restart with a new major. So I started with psychology at Nova, and I got my associate's degree in psychology at Nova, and then I transferred to George Mason. Um, and I'm still at George Mason. This is my last semester actually, and then I will graduate.
That's awesome. And so, why did you decide to come to Nova? And what was your time like at Nova in terms of the transfer process?
I see. Nova, I've had friends here, family members who went to Nova, and they told me about it. And it's a good school. Everybody has your back. Everybody supports you. And the transfer process was, for me particularly, was very smooth because I had a lot of people around me, like yourself. You helped me a lot with the process of transferring. I would say using the resources that we have at the transfer center helped me a lot. Um, because when you want to transfer, you have a lot of questions. You don't know what you should say. Will they accept me? How many schools should I apply at? So I say, for me, I had very uh, multiple schools in mind, but George Mason was my first uh, option, I think.
Sure.
And so when I applied and I asked you and other transfer counselors, you told me this is a good option. I just applied at the place, and I was accepted.
That's good. That's good. So then what ultimately, made you choose Mason, as well as what made you get into the field that you have now pursued and what is your major now?
So my major is still psychology, but I'm specializing in human factors and industrial organizational psychology, IO.
That's very cool. Very cool. And what ultimately led you towards that concentration?
Okay, great. At the beginning, I wanted to go toward clinical psychology, but I learned more about uh, human factors, and I liked that more because I wanted to help people who are working every day. If as a clinical psychologist, I will be helping what, I don't know, 100 people a year. But as a IO psychologist, I can help hundreds and thousands of people every month. So I thought that's a better way to go because my passion is to help people feel better about their job. Yes, and grow that way.
That's awesome. And so then just two other quick questions. So if you were to give one current Nova student who's looking to transfer to Mason or any other school for that matter, what would be, your number one piece of advice for that student?
I would definitely advise them to use the resources that we have on campus. I know now the campus is closed, but I'm sure the offices are still open. I would definitely make an appointment with as many transfer counselors as possible. I would just talk to them until I'm 100% sure. And along the way, I will keep them updated, send them email, keep in touch with them as I'm transferring. The transfer process is going.
Great. And then the last thing is, with your major, what do you want to do with that, and where do you see yourself in a few years?
Great. For beginning, I think I want to find a job in HR, HR management, or even beginning from entry-level assistant, HR assistant, and then keep going up. Ultimately, I would like to continue my education, get my master's in IO, and then maybe my PhD also in IO psychology. So then I can work with bigger companies on their IO strategies, that talent acquisition, all that kind of stuff. I'd like to work with that.
That's awesome. And then I have one final question. Because I think, and so Tom, for those of you who don't know, Tom did work in the Career and Transfer Center at the Annandale campus with me and some others. And so he saw a lot of student questions come in. But as you know, one of the main questions is, how did your credits transfer? And where did you stand once you got to Mason? So could you just give me a brief synopsis of how that went for you, and anything else?
Sure. For me, I took a lot of classes that didn't transfer, but that was not, but that was because I didn't talk to an advisor before. I thought that this will transfer for sure, but then I talked to an advisor. They showed me the website from the other university that, I mean, you can check if your credits will transfer or not. And I realized that, I've been taking all these classes and I'm going to transfer. So it's important to talk with an advisor before you take your classes.
Right. So that circles back to your tip for transfer students, right?
Yeah, exactly. Back.
It all comes full circle. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for joining us. And thank you, everyone, for listening to Tom's story. And we look forward to keeping in touch in the future. All right. Bye, Tom.
Bye. Good luck.